one of the organizers here. We have Val, we have Charlie somewhere. There he is. Casey's over here, and Jason. Where's Jason? There you are, coming up. So we're organizers, totally volunteer. If you're interested in getting involved, you should talk to one of us, and you can earn lots of money and valuable prizes by doing this as well. Got to thank Volusia County Economic Development. Ricardi's here in the house today. Where is he? I saw him somewhere.
He's right here.
In the back. Volusia County Economic Development helps pay for this facility. They help this organization run without having to charge anybody, which is a beautiful thing, so we thank them a lot. Cinematique is our venue here, and one of the best venues you could possibly have an event like this at. Jed and his crew help take care of us, and they provide the coffee, so we appreciate that. So, we have some newcomers here. Who's new to the first time for 1MC? Maria, over here, stand up, tell us who you are, what you do.
Hi, my name is Genii Group. I opened up a holistic health and wellness place over Daytona Beach Shores. We do salt therapy, infrared sauna, red light, and massage.
Very cool. Angie in Daytona Beach Shores. Who else is new? First timers, stand up and...
This guy.
This guy.
Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah.
I'm Alexander the Great.
Oh.
Trying to be the greatest. We teach English personally, professionally, and financially, and we bring students internationally, and they're entrepreneurs.
Nice.
Very cool.
Any questions? Thank you.
So anybody here need English? Yeah, I got no one back here. Sir, tell us your name and say hello.
Hi, I'm Luis Suarez. I'm a business and executive coach. I work for Focal Point, and I'm based out of Palm Coast, and I work with business owners and executives growing their business, working with their teams. I've 35 years of experience with global companies, and happy to meet with you. I give a very good consultation for you and see if there's a match, and looking forward to it.
Welcome.
Very cool. Welcome to Daytona. 1MC. Hey, a calendar reminder. Of course, we're here every Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock. We have a calendar reminder for you on the 27th of March this month. We're going to be doing our after hours. We do it quarterly, and it's totally a social event just for everybody to get an opportunity to network, have fun, have some drinks, have some food. So this month, this quarter, we're doing it on the 27th of March. That's a Friday?
Friday.
Right? And it's going to be at Dunes Brewing in Port Orange. They're right at the bridge, down there at Dunlawton, under the bridge. So put it on your calendar. It'll be coming out in the blast from 1MC that you see on Facebook. So just a reminder here. Anything else I missed? No.
Innovation Challenge.
27th.
Innovation Challenge 25th.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. So Innovation Challenge, and we have Salt Safe is going to be there, right? You guys are doing that? Yeah. Got some cool people from 1MC. Innovation Challenge is on the 11th. That's next Wednesday.
Jeeves AI will be there too.
Who's that?
Couple up Jeeves AI.
Oh, very cool. Oh, very cool. Anyway, moving on, we have a presenter here. Did you know something? No, you're good. Angie?
I was just curious what time it was on the 27th. And then-
6 o'clock.
And then as a newcomer, like, where do I find all this info? If I'm
Facebook.
not on the list, Facebook.
We have a Facebook group, 1 Million Cups Daytona Beach. Best place to get it. Val puts everything up there. You'll see our links. We have all of the presentations are on YouTube. So if you want to go there, we have a channel over on YouTube, and you can see the 1 Million Cups Daytona presentation. So if you want to go back, you remember, oh shoot, I remember seeing somebody about a product that they were doing or a business they were doing. Go to our YouTube channel, and you can search there and find them from the archives. Moving on, we've got a presenter today. He's on a worldwide tour of 1 Million Cups. He's on his Florida leg now, out of Atlanta. We're going to have Jay and, is it Genii? Genii Group, and Jeff's somewhere doing all the filming and everything with it. So they drove down from Atlanta, and they're here on the Florida tour. So Jay, come on up and tell us about your product and your business.
Hell yeah, we're real. So, like you said, this is my 6th stop on my 1MC tour, traveling across the nation to talk about our idea, the Genii Group. So as a military veteran and as a military brat, I have traveled across this country, lived across this country, lived in multiple countries as an Air Force vet. I appreciate you. But our company today, the Genii Group, we're focusing on solving a major problem. So over the next decade, more than 12 million businesses are going to need a new owner. 2/3 of those businesses don't have a succession plan in place. That means 40% of the businesses within your local community are going to die if we don't bring them to ownership. And they're just succession locked. They're not bad companies. It's just that they don't have a plan in place to hand it off to the next generation of ownership. So as I said, we're doing what we're calling the Boomer Business Continuity Movement, where we basically go in, implement stronger infrastructure within these businesses, and preparing for the next generation of ownership, bringing them underneath one arm of marketing, sales, and structured leadership. So what some of the things to identify some of our partners. They're doing about $2 million plus in annual revenue. They have repeat service demand, contracts, memberships, things of that nature. They have a manager or team in place, but they're succession blocked. Some of the things that they say: my kids don't want it, I'm ready to retire, I don't know what's next. It's just the unfortunate place where we have great smart business owners who have great businesses, but unfortunately we don't have any leadership to take those businesses over. So what we're building is a family practice. What differentiates us from normal private equity firms is that our idea is to maintain continuity in the businesses. So not go in and basically strip the businesses of its assets, change the name, and do things of that nature. We want to maintain the current branding of that company because it has relationships within the local community and brand equity within the local community. Like I said, we're going to bring it underneath one umbrella of marketing, sales, and leadership, and then with the objective of building $2.5 billion in enterprise value so that we can have an exit on December 31st of 2030. Again, I'm an Air Force vet, 26 plus years of building systems and teams. Built a system for the Air Force that saves them $2.5 billion on average every single year, and I've been out of the military for 10 years. And so I went from working 18-hour days down to 5-hour days in my own agency. And so the infrastructure that I built within my agency is the infrastructure that we're moving into the Genii Group. I'm currently in the process of having conversations with what we call our leadership bench, which is executive leaders who have experience in specifically the home services industry, because I have zero experience in those industries. So bringing in executives who do have that experience is how we'll be able to sustain the business after we acquire it. Just like a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, I had to make some investments to get to where I am today. Didn't know how to do lead generation, didn't know how to do sales, didn't know how to do automations and things of that nature. So making investments into people who are a few steps ahead of me, that's how I was able to get to where I am today. Built out a system called the Catalyst System. We've focused specifically on 5 key areas: lead generation and sales, client delivery and fulfillment, automation and AI, team and operations, and leadership and accountability, because we know that every business is going to go only as far as the leadership of the business takes it. This is the goal that we want for our partners. They've put 20, 30, 40 years of their life into their business, and so it's just time for the next chapter. So we basically want to help them solve that problem by allowing them to transition out, go into their next phase of their journey of retirement, enjoying travel, vacations, spending time with their grandkids and things of that nature. This is how we can stay connected, if anyone is interested in staying connected. And I am open to any questions, feedback, or thoughts on how we can improve presentation or even our process.
That was awesome. So, as a financial advisor, right, we are right in the middle of what they call the Great Wealth Transfer, and it just started. There's $84 trillion fixing to switch hands from the boomer generation to these younger generations. So, for you to be identifying this right now, I think you're right there where you need to be. And it's interesting. So what was the one thing that you saw where you saw like this was an opportunity that needed to be addressed?
Just a conversation. So there is a flooring company in McDonough, Georgia, that is part of my deal flow. So like a lead that's in our pipeline right now. And we were having conversation. It was at the end of church, and he had to go and do a job. And I was just like, on Sunday, like you should be doing family stuff on a Sunday. And he was like, I don't have anybody else to do it. He's 63 years of age, and immediately I was like, okay, this is crazy. Like it just in my mind. And so we just started having conversations, and the more I had conversations with him, I'm just real big on problem solving. So it's like if he's got this problem, and that means there are others out there who have the same problem. So I started doing research. A lot of everything that you started talking about started to pop up the more I did my research. I saw this huge opportunity, so let's jump in.
Every one of us small business owners that are clients have this challenge right now.
Morning, Jay. Hey, great presentation. Nice job.
Thank you, sir.
I totally agree with you. And the issue I see is a lot of folks are looking for what's their exit strategy. They never thought about an exit strategy. They just wanted to build a business and do what they love what they do. And now all of a sudden, they're at that point. It's how who wants this. So, question I have for you is there's a lot of corporate money in the acquisition space, like what you were talking about. For example, they're buying up dental practices all over the country, bringing them under one brand. They're keeping the local name, but it's all corporate now. Same thing with vet clinics. What's your value proposition? Why are you better? How are you targeting your potential acquirees, I guess you'd say, versus them just selling out to some corporate brand or a national owner?
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. We want to keep everything local. So my thought process is we maintain continuity within those businesses so that we can maintain jobs and things of that nature within the local economy. So that's one component of it. The other component of it is what the executive team that I'm building and allowing them to run the business. So right now, I'm working on relationships with potential CEOs, potential COOs, so that I can immediately go to the presidency, because I'm starting with that end in mind in terms of our exit. And I'm also looking for relationships with some of basically who we're going to sell the company to, so that they can basically tell us what we need to do. So they can tell us, hey, this is a target you should go after, this is how you should structure the company, so that we can actually sell it to the end user, which is going to be one of those larger corporate firms that you're talking about.
Hey Jay, Valerie here.
Hello.
Hi. I'm happy that you're able to tour our chapter. We're excited for you to be here. I'm curious on what are the general feedback and the theme of feedback from all the rest of the chapters that you have visited. Can you share a little bit about the feedback?
In regards to this idea?
In regards to, feedback from your other 1MC chapters.
I mean, all the feedback has been great. There has been a lot of relationships that have come, from the different stops that I've been on. Everyone is basically saying the same exact thing, like it's a great timing right now in terms of capital markets and things of that nature. A lot of folks are definitely interested in being a part of like my leadership Rolodex, because as we continue to build this out, I'm always interviewing and searching for new talent, because there will always be a need for us to be able to plug in some leadership talent somewhere. So that the response has been really good. So that's why I keep going on the tours and going to each of the stops, because it's been fruitful to do.
Yeah, hi, this is Heath, Fractional Unit Marketing. So I have a question. Describe what your perfect marketing stroke sales funnel looks like if the business is doing well.
Perfect scenario, we're able to run ads to attract those ideal target in terms of the business owners that we're looking to acquire. Basically get them on a call, and then start to nurture that relationship. So creating a sales cycle in a perfect world, I would love to be able to have that lead to call book within the first 7 days. And then at that point now, it's just a matter of us nurturing that relationship. The larger the business is, the longer the sales cycle will likely be. So for example, when I acquired my very first business back in 2020, it was only $250K. It took us about 45 days in order for us to get a deal done. With more larger businesses that are probably doing, say, $10 million or more, it may take us 10 months to a year. But right now, we use a CRM software called Go High Level. That's what we utilize for lead generation and lead nurturing. And then we also have project management in place with ClickUp. And that's how we basically maintain our deal flow and move it through the process.
Super. I've just got a couple of other short questions. So in your opening part of your presentation, you said that there are the boomer businesses that if you don't exist, they will either A, just let the business fold, or they will sell to a larger, a larger acquisition to a Wall Street money. Is that what you were saying?
Basically, yes, in a nutshell.
So this is a potential, something to think about. You mentioned keeping the businesses local, but you never articulated why that's important. So I can tell you why I think it's important, but why do you think it's important?
For all the reasons I thought I did, but so continuity number one, so maintaining that brand continuity in that local community because there is brand equity already with that brand in the local community. Maintaining the jobs that are already created within that local community is another reason why that is important. So my thought process, it comes from the military, by the way. So while in the military, we understand that consistency in terms of onboarding, training, SOPs, processes, that's what allows our military to be as strong as it is today. So we're basically just looking to go in and optimize those businesses, not completely wipe the table with the current infrastructure that is in place. Ideally, they do have some kind of training program already in place where we can start to train the next level of leadership within that company. But if they don't have it, then we can go in and implement that training so that we can maintain the continuity of those local businesses.
So here's a suggestion for you, is that if, I think that Tom mentioned it, a lot of veterinary practices and they're all being vacuumed up by large national companies and brands, and they still have the appearance of being local. So to all intents and purposes, they're still hiring local people, they still have a local presence. But here's where you could make a difference.
Okay.
And you didn't mention this, but I would seriously mention this when you talk about it. Is that when a business remains in local hands, every dollar that is spent in that business accelerates within that community 3 to 4 to 5 times. If you put it in the hands of a Wall Street company, even though it has the appearance of a local company, it strip mines the economy like Walmart. All those dollars end up in Wall Street shareholders. And what that does is if you can articulate that, you can then make a case to be talking to any other organization like Chambers of Commerce and other business organizations, and they can actually be institutions that form part of your marketing funnel. Rather than you going to find a business one at a time, you can actually have people referring, like was mentioned here about his clients. That's a really good reason to pass a local business to a local business because of the actual because of the strength of the economy if that money remains spent locally.
Thank you, appreciate it.
You're hired.
So I actually have another question. So is your model, do we come in to an existing company as a consultant and strengthen that company to make it as valuable as possible? And do we get paid a fee for that? And do we also get paid a fee if that business sells? Like, where is your model at as far as structure of payment and fees, things like that?
It's a combination of both, right? So ideally, right now, I'm looking to stay away from just consultant-only relationships. And that's because I've had several consultant-only type relationships over the years. And you can give me advice and walk away, and that's cool. But I'm really looking for leaders who are builders, who are really bought into the vision and the mission that we're out to accomplish. And so there is a base pay component with an equity opportunity as well, so that when we all have an exit in 5 years, it's a liquidity event for everybody.
I've came across this a lot. I'm sorry for commenting again, but a lot of business owners, they work the system while they're building their business to keep their tax base low and to keep their personal income level low as possible, but then end up shooting themselves in the foot when it's time to create that exit strategy, because there's no track record of that employer, that business really producing a lot of money. So for small business owners to understand what you do, I think it's worth its weight in gold. And you pay a little bit more in taxes today to have a gigantic exit strategy at the end. So I think it's interesting.
Forgive me, I didn't remember how far into this project you are, but if you have examples of successfully transferring this business into new hands, could you give me an example of that? I'm curious how that actually looks on the other hand. So who ends up like running the business, and more specifically, all that kind of detail?
Yeah, so in a perfect scenario, I don't have that example to give you myself personally. But in a perfect scenario, we would like to at least have a general manager already in that particular business. That way, that general manager now can become a leader within that organization and possibly manage the entire company once the actual owner transitions out of the business. As of right now, with me building my leadership bench, that's basically me creating a list of, say, potential 8 players who are CEOs, COOs, CFOs, you name it. And in that list of people, the idea is whenever I do need someone to go in and say, for example, to play a specific marketing role or a specific sales role, I can then go in and plug in a leader who can go in and specifically focus on that particular area within that business. If you are familiar, some may or may not be, there's a guy by the name of Alex Hermosi. And so that's whose model I'm basically following and building out what we're building out.
Thank you.
Hi, Catherine Neal for MacGyver Labs. I saw in there that you included the use of AI. Do you have a definitive idea of how you want to use the AI, or is this just considering all businesses are going, everybody feels like they need a presence in AI? Have you got a plan in place at this point?
We're actually executing AI right now. So, for example, if someone was to communicate, whether it's through a text message or an email, we have AI already linked in that communication, so AI can respond to book appointments or answer questions and things of that nature. In terms of, there are other ways that we use AI, whether that is conversations with Claude or ChatGPT. And also my video editor, she uses some different softwares for marketing purposes and things like that. So we're actively using AI right now.
All right, thanks for joining us. Dominic from SCORE. Enjoyed speaking with the presentation. So what struck me is maybe you could draw for me a comparison or maybe a contrast, if you will, between your services and maybe what a business broker might do. Just a traditional business broker selling a business opportunity.
Yeah, a broker is my best friend, to be quite honest with you, right? Because they have relationships already established with those who are looking to sell their business. We're not facilitating, that exchange, right? So we're actually just going to go in and acquire the business, and the broker is basically facilitating that transaction. So, yes, you could look at us like a broker, meaning in the sense of when we have our liquidity event in a few years. But that's just, brokers are just basically doing those types of deals every single day. We're building out a platform looking to sell the entire platform opposed to those individual businesses.
Alex here. Question regarding your very first deal. Why did you go from I think you said $215,000 in net revenue annually to $2 million?
So the first deal.
You said right now your main target is $2 million and above. So you're no longer selling businesses that are under $2 million.
I got you. So the first business I acquired was doing about $250K. I think that's what you were asking.
Yes.
Because that was a solopreneur operation. right? And I learned a lot of lessons in that first acquisition. So there was a chiropractic clinic out in Moab, Utah. We ran it successfully for 11 months. The doctor's father passed away, and during his grieving process, I had to use temporary chiropractors. I'm not a chiropractor. So the lesson learned was don't acquire a business that you don't have that specialty in unless you have some people who do have that specialty. And then never focus on a business that just has that one single owner unless that owner is willing to stick around and help us build out the infrastructure of that business. Otherwise, I'm stuck holding the bag again like I once was. So it's that jump is because of the lesson that I learned. Businesses that are doing that 1.5 to 2 million or above, they have a lot more infrastructure in place. And so the chances of that business being sustainable after we acquire it is a lot stronger compared to a business that's a lot smaller. So that's why I did the jump.
I'm Peter McGee,
Yes, sir.
with Finley Business Solutions and Recover Capital. I'm one of those baby boomers that did sell their business. My kid didn't want it. I did get out here and do some other things, but I wanted to be able to have some stability and enjoy doing what I do as I retire. And it's like I feel like I'm a lone preacher trying to preach entrepreneurship. One of my companies I sold to Super Show, and unfortunately, corporate America, the key is they eat, and throw up, and whoever eats the most vomit wins. And that's what's going on now. If you lost your civility and the age out, you want to reach back to teach and preach entrepreneurship. It's a difficult task, but everybody thinks you're crazy because of all the crazy things you've already done. So it's interesting that you have a concept of what you're trying to do. You just need to be able to create the critical hopper to create more and more into the vein to make the compression to make it go. But I appreciate what you're doing.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
How you doing? This is Derek from Mr. Endless Realtor. I guess everybody has their different angles in this room because I think we're all doing a lot of similar certain things. So for example, what you said as far as for the AI usage, I did that as soon as you put it up there. And automatically, before I even finished pressing submit, I got messages from that. So is that an example of the AI usage?
Yes. I mean, it's probably not perfect, but tell me what feedback you got.
No, I'm just giving an example of the usage of what she asked.
Gotcha.
Secondly, I would say to everybody else, because there's just a lot of people we're all learning. That's the reason why I come to this, is to network and also learn from different businesses how to make mine better. So what I would say for everybody here is that, if using AI, and this is just an example, if using AI and, when we have these different communications and networking opportunities, would it be beneficial for that person to automatically get your information right there? So you don't have to keep doing those follow-ups and it's automatically follow. If that would be a benefit, these are some examples of the usage of AI, not just for him, but just for all of us that are in this room. And also what I'm taking from everybody in these questions is clarity. This is what I'm looking for myself, so hopefully it rubs off for somebody else. Clarity, regardless of the business, is going to make it a lot easier to make it right.
Absolutely.
So that was an example that Mr. Heath gave as far as for the presentation. It might make it clear for everybody in the room, so you're not having as many questions. And of course, questions are good, but that clarity will make it a lot easier to make get your point across. And I feel like for all of us, we're doing similar things. So what our niche is, like he just said, 1.5 to 2 million. That's his niche. For example, I feel like my niche is the lower end on the not-for-profit side, the niche of dealing with more community relations, because that's my expertise per se. So I feel for everybody in here, the clarity, making your business and what you do as clear as possible would make it easier for everybody.
Awesome presentation, by the way. My name is Eli. I'm also a military brat, so I understand.
Absolutely.
It seems like you're leveraging your ability to kind of be flexible where you move and using this business to say, hey, I can jump into this industry, and still be able to adapt and do it well. So super cool idea.
My sort of thought, not necessarily suggestion, but really just an idea that came up was the bench that you're building of these industry experts and leaders is super, super cool and a good idea to be able to kind of plug and play into a business that you might acquire. I just came from, and I think I can speak for a lot of different people in the younger generation, but I just came from an undergrad where everybody's a hustler, they want to learn, they want to really kind of integrate into some sort of industry, but they don't know what. And so I think maybe leveraging a lot of younger, maybe students or interns, where when you acquire a business, you can plug them in early on and allow them to grow, maybe to become some sort of manager, or like you said, help operate the business later on. So, yeah.
No, thanks. So there's no discrimination in terms of age range, in terms of talent that I'm looking to acquire. I'm just starting with what I think is important right now, which is that senior executives, because there's just blind spots that I have, right? That I know that there are things that I don't know, but they have an experience. So that we can make sure we start off the right way. That's why I'm focusing on those senior executives right now. But I'm having conversations with them. For sure. Very good, for sure.
Hi. So building on earlier comments, I also don't like the idea of venture capital buying up local businesses. In the long run, that's going to hurt the community. It's going to take all the money out of the flow and up to Wall Street, as they said earlier. With that in mind, have you considered the idea of matchmaking for local businesses, where you have a local business that's about to retire, and you find somebody who's in the 20s to 40s years range in the community who'd be willing to take up that business? That way the local economy stays flowing, the money doesn't get sucked out of the community.
Gotcha. I have not considered that, so that's definitely something that I'm open to consider. I would like to stay kind of out of the business broker, kind of space. But anything that I can do to help facilitate, the next generation of ownership into a business, I'm down to do that for sure.
So just to follow up on the chiropractic practice that went south, okay, we chatted before, and you mentioned he was holding the financing, okay? I believe, I heard you right. So the risk was a lot of his, okay? Is that the plan moving forward with another professional services firm, keeping the badging the same, showing a succession plan to a person in business not working anymore, and giving the client work? Is that the model, or do you see capital from other?
Yeah, it depends on the stability of the business. So a business that is on that lower range of say 1.5 to 2 million, then we're going to be asking that owner to stick around a little bit longer. So we would have asked that owner to carry the note, a portion of the note, not the whole note. But then we would also look to have an earnout. So if that owner says, hey, I project that my company is going to be X in the next 12 months, okay, this is how you can get your liquidity at the end of that 12 months. A company that's a lot larger, say $5 million or more, they have a lot stronger infrastructure already in place. So then we would have to structure that deal a lot different compared to a business that's small. Each deal is going to be something different. The situation with the chiropractic clinic, he wasn't desperate. He wasn't like crazily motivated. So the plan was for him to stick around a lot longer. Some of the owners that we're having conversations with, some of them were just like, man, I don't have any more gas, right? I'm at the end. And so it just depends on where that owner is. But if you want to get a deal done, everybody, we'll figure out a way to have good conversations and get a deal done.
Good morning, Jay Mark Goodson with the Ormond Beach Chamber of Commerce. Great presentation. I am a former U.S. Air Force vet as well. Thanks for your service as well. A couple of questions for you real quick. Where are you headquartered?
McDonough, Georgia, as of right now.
Okay.
We are working on relocating back to Tampa. We being my family.
Thank you. And am I to understand that you've had one transaction so far, that being the first business that you bought outright, or do you have others?
For this particular platform, no, sir. So that particular business will not be a part of the platform because it's outside of the industries that we're focusing on. And I don't know if we haven't really talked about it. We're specifically focusing on home service businesses. So plumbing, HVAC, etc. That's a chiropractic clinic. And so to make sure like our cap table and everything stays clean, I'm keeping that business outside of this particular platform.
Okay, thanks for the home service clarification,
Yes,
because that was the next question. The other one is, are you looking then to acquire a book of these businesses where the owner stays in place over, let's say, a 5-year period, but you're able to take that entire book to the street and sell it collectively? Which separates you from the individual business broker trying to sell a one-off electrical services business or a one-off HVAC business, et cetera. Is that the intent?
So the intent is if a business owner does want to stick around and go on this 5-year sprint with us, I'm 100% open to having that business owner stick around. The idea is to build different verticals, so a vertical of pest control, HVAC, and then sell the entire platform of businesses.
I got you.
That's the idea.
Okay, so the final question I have, and it's one I started with in my mind, because I've been a mom and pop before, I run a small chain, live music, restaurant, bar businesses in the greater Nashville, Tennessee area. But nonetheless, you talk about the sweet spot of wanting to work with organizations that are doing a minimum of $2 million a year. That works out to about $6,000 a day, right? I mean, that amount isn't exact, but that's about what it is.
Gotcha.
When I was trying to achieve $1 million a year, I knew I needed $3,000 in revenue a day. So quick math is $2 million at $6,000 a day. So what is the motivation ultimately for any of these businesses within this home services focus that you have that are doing that kind of volume to want to give that up to you? Because if they're doing that well, somebody's pulling in $6,000 a day, they're no slough. They must be doing something right. So with that said, what's the motivation for me running a successful $2 million a year HVAC business to do business with you however you wish to do it?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't start out by just selling you on my motivation. I would just ask you a series of questions just so that I can understand what are your current problems, pains, challenges, etc. Then we'll get to what the motivations are. You might be a business owner who says, sure, I've built a $2 million company. I've still got a lot of energy in the tank. I want to go on this 5-year run with you. I believe in the next 5 years I can get my business to, $7.5 or even $10 million. We would then sit down and have a conversation and say, okay, your motivation is totally different from someone who might be, say, 65 plus years of age. They've gotten it to 2 million, don't have a lot of gas in the tank anymore. So it just depends on where that business owner is in their own journey and process and what their motivations are. The idea for us is not to just come in and sell you something. The idea is to figure out what is your biggest problem, what is your biggest challenge or pain point, and then let's just come up with a solution that works best for you as well. And I believe that's probably one of those differentiators for us is it's truly a collaboration. Like the idea for me is, like you said, you've built a great business. You're no slough, like you're no slouch. So the idea is not to come in and treat you as if you are that. The idea is to say, hey, there's an opportunity for us to collaborate here. If you're ready to exit right now, okay, then let's come up with a strategy that allows you to exit right now. But if you still got some juice in the tank and you want to go on a 5-year run, we can structure that deal to where now you can benefit in the short term and the long term liquidating event that we'll have in a couple of years. So it just depends on where that business is.
Perfect, thank you.
When they're ready to leave right now, give me a call.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Jason. I apologize for my ADD kicking in. So you acquire the businesses, like you buy the business, or do you consult? You say you don't want to consult?
Yeah, I'm not interested in consulting, and I'm not interested right now in consultants. So the idea for us is to go in, so my strength or my secret sauce is team development and systems development, so the infrastructure of the business. So that's what I'm going to specifically focus on improving inside of those individual businesses. Not from a consulting standpoint. My job is going to be the president of the board, who's now leading the overall organization. I'm not terribly interested in consultant relationships, only because the risk is still heavily on our side, and this consultant has no skin in the game. And so I'm looking for builders, leaders who are saying, hey, I believe in this idea. Of course, there was a lot more that I would have to show than just this presentation. We have all of that documentation and everything prepared. But I'm looking for leaders who want to be builders, who want to actually be a part of what we're doing, the problem we're solving, so we can go out and build it together.
So you come into a company, take it over, basically the management of, and I mean, do you then purchase the company and build it for however long, then try to, I mean, how is that keeping the ownership local though?
Because the ownership of we might own the company, but the leadership and management of the company would remain local. So for example, if it has a general manager or a VP that's already in place, we would want that leadership to stay in place, so all that leadership would remain local. If some of those business owners or some of those employees are open to being the next owner for this particular company, that's an option as well. But that's, I mean, and all the monies and everything like that, is that what you're, I guess is that what you're asking me?
Well, I mean, if you're buying the company, like
Right.
you're from Georgia, if you come in here, you buy a plumbing company in Daytona, how is that locally? You just bought it. You said you're gonna group them together and sell them. Are you selling it to a Daytona-based company, or? I just don't understand how you're keeping it local, you know? Because you're buying it, and you're from Georgia.
Right, so you mean how am I keeping the ownership local?
Well, that was, I understand, that was your pitch, is that it's better to keep it local than to have a big outside company come in and buy it. I'm just asking, what's the difference between you buying it from outside and somebody else? Do you try to find buyers in the local area to purchase these companies? That's what.
Yeah, so I got you. So if there are local business owners who want to participate in the purchase of the company, yes, that is an option. Keeping it local means we're going to, keep the branding, the infrastructure, the jobs, all of those things, all of that stuff is going to stay local. Most private equity firms, what they would do, they would come in and say, buy a plumbing company out of Daytona, and let's just say it's J&S Plumbing. I don't know if that's one of the names or not. J&S Plumbing is going to become whatever the larger plumbing company that they own someplace else. J&S Plumbing is going to lose its logo, it's going to lose its branding, it's going to lose the way that they.
Well, usually they keep it local, yeah.
Some might, sure,
Yeah.
but most of them, when they do that, they come in and strip it of all of its assets, and they completely replace the entire organization with their own people. And so that's why I want to have those businesses that have some infrastructure in place, so that those folks who are there, who are running it. So for example, I don't know anything about Daytona, but John, who's the general manager of J&S Plumbing, or the VP at J&S Plumbing, he knows everything about the Daytona area. So keeping that leadership team in place is the #1 priority for me. It's not for us to come in and take those people's jobs away from them.
Okay, I had a company approach us about buying our company in the last year or so. They were paid hundreds of millions of dollars. And I guess I would have been interested in the business, because what they were interested in was purely paying on profit. And we don't run a business maximizing profit. So do you work with the company to try to build up the value before purchasing it, or how does?
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be a complete takeover, right? So we could come in and say for a percentage of ownership, we come in and implement, better systems, processes, and infrastructure. Once we get into a certain target, then we can have different triggers basically built in. So say, for example, it goes from $1 million to $2 million. With that particular trigger, something else could possibly kick in, where that could be where that business owner, him or herself, could actually transition, out of the business. So it's just a matter of identifying where that business is and what type of agreement we can come to.
Okay, there could be potential there in that if you think you can increase the value, like these people approached us, and I'm not happy with what they're offering.
Okay.
But it's purely 5 times profit. Because like, you know, we take our employees on a cruise for $25,000. Like I just lost $125,000 because I took my company on a cruise. So they can't, what they're offering is to help build up the company for the next year and then purchasing it. And I'm just saying there's an opportunity to come in and build up a company and getting a cut of that if you're gonna help run it, increase the value.
We're definitely open to that. It's just the floor in terms of where we want to start. I have no desire to go in and run that business, you know, day to day. And so that's why I need that business to have some form of a leadership tree in place. We can, like the systems and things like that we do, the softwares that we use, a lot of that stuff is just duplicatable. It's literally just like hit a switch and we can just basically change the messaging and start to have a lot of those systems run for the business that we go in and start working with. But if it requires me, like personally Jay, to come in and help with the day-to-day of that business, then that business is not attractive to me.
Hi, hey, I just want to tell you, it's a great concept. I see a lot of opportunities. I'm a business coach and I see potential collaboration here. So one of the things that maybe a comment and a suggestion here is what specifically, who is the target audience, right? And the kinds of services, just 1, 2, 3, right? Because for example, when I work with businesses, I facilitate, I don't consult, right? I don't do a lot of the things that they want me to do, because that's for specialists, right? When I see applications here, whether that's technology or funding or things like that, so I refer people to other businesses, right? So I think collaboration is a big thing. I'm sure a lot of people here offer a service and they could see an opportunity to collaborate with you. But that's just one thought that I have, right? I think when I get with businesses and small businesses, they got very simple needs a lot of times, right? They look for simple applications, simple processes, and I refer it to people, you know. And so that's maybe something I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about it. It's just a comment, a suggestion, but great mission.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we got one last question, and then we are going to wrap this up for the day. Finish on a high note over here.
We're good. I promise you we're good.
Yeah, I just have kind of a clarifying question based on some of the other comments.
Yes, sir.
I want to kind of paint just a high level scenario. Say I'm doing $2 million annually, right? I'm making 20% margin at $400K, right? Let's say that I'm in a business sector where the multiple on that to sell it on the open market is a factor of 2.
Okay.
So that takes my $400,000 in margin to, means my business is worth 2 times that, right? So it's worth $800,000.
Yes, sir.
So I'm a guy ready to retire, I'm running a good business, and then you come along and want to do a deal with me. I see my business as something worth $800,000. What's the value proposition? What is the value proposition for me to want to do business?
So let's, didn't matter.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm not trying to be critical.
You know, you're not. We're just gonna have a conversation. So how old are you?
60.
All right, you're 60. Married?
Yes.
Kids?
Adult.
Adult kids. Grandkids?
1.
Okay. And so what are some of the things that you like to do right now?
I value my time, so being able to stop and smell the roses.
Gotcha. Okay. So what's your biggest challenge from keeping you from being able to stop and smell roses?
Having to be resident in my business.
So running a business every single day.
Sure.
All right. What is that costing you? What's it costing you in time,
as I said,
money?
I've treated this little business just like a Fortune 500 company. I go in each day to try to improve it. I've done that. I've created value. I expect to get that 2 times multiple on $400,000 in earnings.
Okay.
I think that's fair. So I'm willing to stay with you for 5 years.
Okay.
Does that mean you're going to give me $400K now and pay me a salary that's worth $400K over the next 5 years? How do I get my $800K out of this business?
Again, how we structure the deal is how we sit down and structure the deal. Yeah, I mean, so you see what I'm saying? I want to know what your pain points are, what your motivations are, and then once we figure out what those pains are, and you said, like you just said, hey, I want to stick around and run with you for the next 5 years, Okay, great, yeah, we can give you a base and we can give you an equity in the overall platform so that your 2 times multiple can probably be 8 times multiple.
Okay, well,
You know what I'm saying?
okay, so then that's the value proposition.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the
Okay,
value
so I get a taste
Yeah,
of
you
a
can get
bigger
a,
value later
you can get a,
if I take a smaller amount up front.
you can get a retirement check now, right? So you can go and smell the roses, enjoy your grandbaby and your kids. You get a check every single one, and then 5 years from now, you can have a liquidity.
I got you. Thank you.
It's funny how much of that conversation, what you just said, is exactly the conversation I have with my clients. It's identical. What does your retirement look like? What are your goals? What's important to you? It's very interesting because a lot of business owners, they don't ever think about that. They think about what's going on today, but they never think about what's going on tomorrow and how tomorrow comes and how fast it gets here. So we always end these morning meetings with the same possible question. What can our local chapter here in Daytona do for you and your company?
Yeah. So part of it is we talk about it a lot, those leadership relationships. So that's a major component of it. And then acquisition credit partner relationships. So right now, the executive team that I've been working with has been helping me prepare myself to be attractive for capital. So meaning, you know, our thesis, our investor deck, things of that nature, what infrastructure we have in place in terms of deal flow, CRM, things of that nature. So that as we start to have these types of conversations with our partners, we can be able to show them, hey, here's our target, here's our plan to get there, here's the leadership team that's going to help me get us there, and here's the infrastructure that we already have in place, and here's what we're going to do with the capital year 1, year 2, 3, 4, and 5, so that everybody can see how they're going to get their return. So relationships, everything that I'm looking for now is relationships with either capital partners or relationships with executives who can help us go out and do it.
Thank you very much. All right, everybody, we have time before Valerie gets upset. We need everybody up front for that 1MC family photo.